Hello, today we're going to talk about the most important topic there is in poker, about how to deal with variance. Here you see a random EV graph from one of my samples, over 12,000 hands, and I'm up about 14 buy-ins. Great, isn't it? I should be celebrating after all, maybe a week's time of work, and I'm up. But let's have a look at the green and the red line. Here you go, down. I should be up, but everything went against me. I deserve to be 15 buy-ins up, but I'm down. All the flips, all the two outers, everything just went the other player's way. How do I deal with this? How do I deal with the swing in general? How do I deal with downswings? If I learn how to deal with it, then I'm going to be making a lot more money than if I do not deal with it. I've made the calculations. Even for NL25 players, it is thousands of dollars. And many players who are actually professional now are only because they were lucky in the beginning of the career. Many who could become professionals don't, because they do not know how to deal with variance. So this is what this video is going to be about. You are going to learn how to deal with it with analogies to other sports like boxing, football, tennis, basketball that I just made up and haven't heard anyone else do. But before, let's find out what kind of variance we're talking about. So here you see the poker variance calculator from BrindRope, which I have used in previous videos. And let's just find out. You're a 3 big blind winner. So you're just beating online poker, not too much, you're not that good, just an average regular. And you are about to play a long session. You play 1,200 hands. That's what, 1.5 hours of zooming, 4 tabling. And how frequently do you book a win with a session? I will talk about this term, book a win, but for now, I'll use it. You're going to book a win, here it is, 55% of the time roughly, but below it. So what if you just play a shorter session? You just play 600 hands, you book a win just above 53% of the time. Okay, but maybe you're better. Maybe this is just a weak player, 3 big blinds, you can do better. You have 7 big blinds, you're an online crusher, and you play a session of 1,000 hands. You book a win about 59% of the time. So you can tell that the online poker pro wins about 55% of his sessions, some maybe up to 60, some below 55%, but rarely over 60% of the time. So for the brain it probably feels like half the time you win, half the time you lose, given the brain doesn't distinguish between 55, 53, 57% wins. But what do you feel after a session? This is what I want to ask you first. Do you feel frustrated when you lose? Do you feel happy when you win, or do you not care about the session? Do you feel about the hands itself during the session? So you get frustrated maybe when you get coolered, when you lose a flip, and you get happy when you win a stack. How does it work? It's different for everyone, but let's just assume someone after every session either feels good or feels frustrated when they look at the results. Now I want to find an analogy with other sports before I explain further what I mean, but you needed that info just to understand what we are talking about. So now we're going to boxing. I picked a random fight here where I found stats. I don't watch boxing too much, so we have Vargas here against Garcia. And I want to look at one stat here. Punches landed. You saw that Vargas landed about 198 punches, whereas Garcia landed 226 punches. And how many punches were thrown? 568 for Vargas and 686 for Garcia. So the accuracy of Vargas is 29% and Garcia 40%. Why am I talking about punches? Well, could you think that maybe a hand that you lose during a game is a punch against you? When you win a stack of your opponents, are you punching him? So you feel happy when you succeed with a punch. You feel sad when you receive a punch. What if those boxers, every time they receive a punch, so 500 times in the game, they attempt but 200 times successful, every time they receive a punch, they're going to start crying. Oh no, but this punch, it's hurting, and there's no time for it. The punches are so fast, you don't have a break, you don't even have time to think about it. You're just in there, you're just boxing, and whatever happens, happens. So the analogy doesn't work for the number of times it happened. During a session, while you're playing, you win a stack every now and then, you lose a stack every now and then, but it just doesn't occur every 10 seconds. Like in boxing, the punches occur. But what if you could control yourself to believe that winning and losing a stack is the same as for a boxer receiving or giving a punch. Well, if this doesn't work, let's try. We're still not giving up, but let's assume this doesn't work. Let's have a look at football. World Cup Final 2022, if you want to call it soccer, be my guest too. Argentina against France, result was 3-3, Argentina win on penalties. So typically this sport is a low scoring event, so results like 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 are the norm. Here we have many goals, but I want to focus at a few other stats. For possession, you see that Argentina have the ball 54% of the time, whereas France have it 46% of the time. Are the French going to be frustrated, feel tilted every time Argentina have the ball, or vice versa? Of course not. Everyone just changes possession all the time. There's just no reason for you to worry about it. It's part of the game, right? You have the ball, then the other team has the ball. Imagine if you start tilting about this. Then it doesn't work. But what about the total passes? 632 to 531 for Argentina. Are the French going to get frustrated and tilted every one Argentina successfully passed the ball? Again, this doesn't work. The passes occur all the time. Everyone passes to the guy standing next to them. It happens all of the time. So there's just no time. There's no reason for you to get frustrated. But what about the shots? 21 to 10 shots for Argentina. Every time Argentina get close to shooting, are we going to panic? No, we are not. Only for the goals is where in this sport people really start celebrating getting frustrated. So you have a classic Cristiano Ronaldo, when after he scores he goes like so and does his move. In football, given it's a low scoring event, the importance is on scoring a goal. It's when you score a goal that you get happy and maybe even frustrated when the other team scores and you get a little bit down. So given a goal happens rarely and given the importance of it towards the final result, people start celebrating. However, in poker, do you need to associate winning or losing a stack with scoring a goal in a football or soccer game? Well, the importance probably is similar because you're playing to win a stack and lose a stack, so it doesn't get much more as losing or winning a stack in a cash game. That's the most you can get, unless of course you score twice, 3 times in a row, you win 3 stacks or you lose 3 stacks. But generally, this is just the most emotional that can happen in a cash game. But what about the number of times that it happens? Is it a low scoring game in cash games? How long does a cash game match last? Does it only last during a session? Or does the match go on over a year? And if it goes over a year, winning and losing a stack happens all of the time. But let's think about it further. Look at basketball. Here are the last results from the Heat against the Nuggets NBA final, and you see high scoring game. Of course, every score is worth 2 or 3 points in basketball, but the point here is it happens all of the time that when someone gains points. Therefore, is there really reason for you to celebrate? The players, they make a little fist, the fans, they throw their arms to the air, but that's about it unless the point is exceptionally nice or important. In tennis, this is similar. Federer Nadal 2007 Wimbledon final, you see total points 165 to 158. Imagine that after every point a tennis player goes to you and celebrates like Ronaldo, or when they concede, they get frustrated, throw the racket. It just wouldn't work. They wouldn't be professional tennis players because they're not leading with the nature of the game and giving too much importance to every single point. How do we achieve an analogy to poker? How can we associate winning and losing a stack to something more like winning or losing a point in tennis or at least in basketball, instead of having a similar feeling to a goal in football/soccer? There are ways, but it's not easy. The first thing is understanding how this game works, the stats, the probability of you winning and losing. And the second is disassociating a session from a game. So not every session is a game. A game lasts much longer. A game in cash game lasts over a month. You should maybe have a goal of having 50,000 hands as one game. What happens if you are a small winner? Now let's include rakeback, because after a month you have enough time to clear your rakeback and you are a 5 big blind winner. Now all of a sudden you are having a winning month 90% of the time. So if you can associate this to a game, you're winning 90% of the time you will feel a lot better. And if a month is a game, what could a season be? Maybe a year. So we multiply this by 10. 10 months you're playing, 2 months you're taking off, 500,000 hands, and you see that you're going to be winning 100% of the time, basically. So how can we achieve to not feel as bad about losing or winning a stack, about getting colored, about losing flip, about whatever it is that frustrates you, tilts you, and makes you play worse? There are two ways. The first is rationalize it like I'm trying to do now. You first understand the nature. This is key for every way. If you don't understand the nature of your sport, the nature of your game, you will not succeed. The nature of this game is winning and losing a stack happens all of the time. So while playing, try to think of it as if you were in a crazy slow motion. So you're rewatching a game in a tenth of the speed, and therefore you're kind of forced to watch the stack coming your way or going your opponent's way, and this is why you're having time to feel about it. Try to just ridicularize the situation by thinking, wait, this is just going so slow here, but actually this is happening all of the time. I'm just not realizing it because the way my brain works is because it only happens every 5, 10 minutes or 15 minutes depending on the game. Your brain has time to think about it, rethink about the action, maybe even during an all-in, look at the turn, the river card, and really feel what is happening. And given you're putting importance into winning money in this game, you will automatically gain some sort of emotion. Either you feel happy about it or sad about it. So what you have to do is you kind of understand the nature of the game, ridicularize a little bit. You say, nah, I'm just boxing here. This is a crazy slow motion. It's a tenth of the actual speed. So what is happening? I'm a boxer. This is just a punch. I'm punching back, back, back. And there's no way I can spend my time thinking of this. If you manage to put the stack, lost or won, to its real importance, which is just like a point in tennis. It's not the importance of a goal in a soccer football game. It's the importance of just a point. It happens all of the time in a month and in a year. If you manage to rationalize and control your emotion, then you will be a better player. So the first method you have is not to become like a bot, but to try to achieve to at least become a little bit less human by getting detached from the way you used to feel and the way you naturally feel about it, but understand the nature and really become chilled about it. And by chilled about it, I don't actually mean the money that you win or lose, because contrarily to what many people say that talk about the subject, that it's money pressure and you're feeling the money, I actually don't believe the money is the primary reason for most players. So even if a millionaire is taking microstakes seriously because he enjoys the game, he'll feel frustrated or happy when he loses or wins a stack. So let's just assume a ridiculous simulation where a low stakes player is expected to win about $38,000 in a year of playing, and someone offered him, you're going to pick an RNG between 34 and 42k because that's your range of winnings given a high percentage confidence interval, and according to the RNG number that comes here, I'm going to pay you this amount and you don't play for the whole year. I don't think the player would be extremely with the heart running. I don't know, because I haven't been in this situation, but it's not like you would be, oh please, 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 40, 41, and then let's pick a number. The number is $38,888, so I don't think that'd be a celebration. Yeah, I won $888 more than I should have won, happy. And then similarly, if this number would have been 36,000, I don't think the player would have left extremely frustrated because he just lost 2,000 because he won 2,000 less than he should have. I think the reason you get frustrated a lot is because of your expectation to wanting to be a winning player, and losing a stack makes you feel like you're not being successful. But that's just my point of view of how I imagine people to feel, but this you can think for yourself. But what I know, there's only a way to be successful in this game if you're able to play regardless of what you're feeling. So there's two ways. Either you control your feelings and you give it the importance it is, and you play because you're chilled about it. Or the second option, if you really are the emotional type of person who still, regardless of all I'm talking, when you lose a flip, when you're losing a few binds, you're down, you're frustrated, you need to know how to deal with these emotions and make the emotions turn you into a better player. And the way to do this is while understanding the nature. It's essential. If you don't understand the nature, you don't know what's going on. So you need to understand 50,000 hands is a game, 500,000 hands is a season. And then what you do is, we see the stats for recreational players. So someone who has minus 10 big blind win rate and he plays 250 hand session, he wins about 43% of the time. Someone who loses, great loser, big loser, 38 big blinds, let's say he plays shorter session because the big losers don't multi-table really too often. So 193 hands, run the number, he has 28% of the time a win. And maybe live, a very big loser, 65 big blind per 100 loser, he plays 50 hands, 2 hours of live poker, he has 30% wins. Now you, the emotional player, you know this, you know the stats. Whenever you see the recreational player winning, ridiculous play, he played so bad he doesn't deserve to win, I don't care about the statistics, I know he should win 30%, but he doesn't deserve it. This is what I feel. And I just lost a flip, I don't deserve it, I know it's the game, but I don't deserve it. This is what I feel. You need to put this feeling into giving you motivation to get what you're feeling you deserve. So you deserve to be winner. You know the only way you can win is by playing those 50,000 hands in a month and 500,000 hands in a year with the same effort and the same concentration and the same rationalization while taking decisions as if you're feeling good. So the way is you kind of give it as an energy for you to, okay, I'm going to show the recreational player who's the winner. I'm going to show this stupid run out, the stupid flip, who is the good player, and I'm going to show you I am the winner. So you need to take this emotion to you into wanting to grind the 50,000, the 500,000 hands, and wanting to overcome the downswing to become better. So the emotions are okay as long as they serve as a motivation. You need to find a way to make your emotions lead you towards really wanting to grind even more and even better. But if your emotions affect your game, this game will be hard. You are losing, and again, I made the calculation, thousands of dollars even at lower stakes. Many people have to quit the career because they cannot deal with the emotions, and some players who have the technical ability do not even become professionals just because they don't find a way to either understand, accept it, and feel a little bit more chill by playing, or at least turn the emotions into something positive, into wanting to beat the variance, into wanting to show it that you're the good player, and somehow out of all the emotions you feel, gain motivation. So I'm just realizing that the IMG number was 38,888, which is the name of a famous poker site, and basically I'm advertising for free. I'm feeling frustrated, but instead I'll create this as a motivation for the next time to find a partner for my videos to not be advertising for free. Just joking around. I'm not a mental game coach, so everything that I told here is from the experience. I'm a poker player, so of course I had to learn how to deal with this, but I'm a coach of the technical part of the game. This is what I focus about, but of course if you feel like my experience as a poker player can help you in this part of your game as well, my contacts are here in the description. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.